Welcome back. You're watching Cable 10 Live here on Rogers TV, and I'm your host, Sarah Brana. Great to be with you. Just so you're aware, we are going to a 1-hour format, so the show, we're with you for a little bit longer, but lovely to be with you nonetheless. So if you were in our first segment and you're watching it, we were talking about portion control and eating healthy with the Associate Long-Term Health Minister, Deepika Damarla. And now we're going to a bit of a different take. We're talking about Carassauga and the Community Challenge. So this is going to be an exciting sort of different take on things. So happy to have you all here. I have with me Stephanie Eby, Event Coordinator with Carassauga. Hello, Stephanie.
Hi.
Hi. Melanie Tadeo, founder of Connect for Life. Hello.
Hi.
And Ilya Demeski, Director of PR, Connect for Life. It's so nice to have you guys here again, because I love it when we see each other once in a while and we talk about connecting with the community and what matters the most, and that's what you're here to talk about, is the Community Challenge and why it matters and what's the important part about it. So Stephanie, let's talk first about Carassauga and the whole aspect of it.
So Carassauga is the largest multicultural festival in Ontario, and it is the second largest in Canada, and it happens just here in our backyard in Mississauga.
Yeah.
So it happens during May 22nd to the 24th, and it's an all volunteer-based event. There's over 6,000 volunteers that actually help run this entire event for the weekend.
Blows my mind every time I think about that. 6,000 people.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Everybody gets very involved. It's very community-based, so that's the nice thing about it. It's all about coming together and understanding each other's backgrounds and cultures and where we come from, and being able to appreciate it and try the food and everything that we offer for it, entertainment and music. There is just over 70 countries that we host during the weekend, and it's all throughout the entire area of Mississauga, but mainly at the Hershey Center. There is a large number of them, about 20 countries. So it's very nice to be able to see.
Sure it is.
And we actually have a passport that you usually can have to be able to go. It's only $10, which ironically is the same way it was 30 years ago, because it's our 30th anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah, so we were very true to the passport and keeping the price the same.
Wow.
So that's really nice, and it actually takes care of you to be able to travel during the weekend on the My Way busing system throughout the entire public transportation, all hours of the festival, as well as a half hour before and after, and then also it also gives you onto the shuttle bus, so it's all set up for you.
That you know, that boggles my mind that you were able to keep the price. You were able to maintain the integrity of the price for this many years later. That says a lot. That really says a lot to the whole community coming together to make this happen. That's how important it is. Which brings us then to you, Melanie and Ilya, and thank you for giving us that insight into Carassauga, because that's very important. So there's this community challenge that's going on.
Yes.
Right. So let's chat about how Connect for Life is involved in the community challenge.
Well, we are very excited to be participating as one of the charities that are involved. We've heard about it, and part of our mandate is to get involved with the community.
Yeah.
And what a better way than something that's been going on for 30 years. That's so big there. And when I went to the information session a couple months ago, I was floored to see the amount of people that were in attendance of different charity and community groups, really wanting to take advantage of this exciting challenge. And it's kind of like the Amazing Race, would you say?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Amazing Race.
Yes.
Really? Okay, that's really neat.
Yes. So what we're really excited about is not only are we going to be able to create awareness about Connect for Life, but we've already been able to sell 35 passports and raise some money for our cause.
Give me a high five, my friend.
Absolutely.
That's brilliant. You too. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yes. So Carassauga is doing this third-party fundraiser for all the charities and community groups, not only to help us create awareness, but to raise some money for our cause, which is a fantastic opportunity.
It sure is. And we have you here often to talk about Connect for Life, and I think it's really important to chat a little bit about what Connect for Life actually offers. So I'm going to let you chat a little bit about that, Ilya.
Sure. So we're a charity organization here located in Mississauga. We've been operating since 2012.
Okay.
And we seek to empower people living with disability.
Okay.
So one of the ways we try to do that is through providing them with resources. We have a life skills training program, and we're actually going to launch in September a pilot project with radio broadcast training.
Fantastic.
That's right. So because we actually have a 24/7 online radio station about and by people living with disabilities.
Yeah.
So now we're actually going to provide the training to. We have about 20 participants who are interested in.
Oh, that's amazing.
And they will learn about radio broadcast training.
And so you'll provide training through someone who has that background that
Yes,
understand?
we have 2 trainers that have 30 years experience in the broadcasting field, as well as have taught at Humber and the others at Niagara
wonderful.
College. So we're really excited to be partnering with the Broadcast Training Center. They're giving us space and Port Credit to do it, and just very exciting because it's, again, empowering individuals with disabilities to learn a skill.
It sure is. I mean, which is basically saying just because you've got an impairment, regardless of what it may be, doesn't mean you have to limit your dreams and your visions and things that you want to do in life. And I think that speaks to quite a bit. Good for you that you were able to put that together. So that starts in September.
Yes, September 8th.
September 8th.
Yes.
Melanie knows the date. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So how do we get people to sort of, we've talked about this before, Melanie, get out of their shell? And I want to say that in a respectfully, in a political correct manner, because people sometimes think they have this disability. They think, I can't do what I want to do. I'm just going to stay at home. I'm not going to worry about it. This is my lot in life. What do you say to people who might be thinking that?
You know what, Sarah? It's so true, because exactly, you've hit it right the nail on the head, because I myself, living with a disability, every day you wake up and go, well, I can't really do that. You know, everybody has those moments, that doubt, the fear. And really, it's truly just reach out to your community, see what's out there, what interests you. Anybody with disability can do anything they want, they just do it in a different style.
I think that's really important. That, I mean, when you put this together, you're the founder of Connect for Life. I mean, and so something had to come to your mind to make you say, I know I need to do this. I need to give back to the community. What was it that came to your mind?
I didn't want anyone to go through what I went through when I first became disabled. Because I was 21 and everybody kept saying, oh, you're disabled, you need to stay home. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm 21. My whole life is ahead of me. So my background is teaching, and that was my dream from day one. And I wanted to be a teacher, but everybody's like, well, but you're disabled. How can you teach? And
how can you not teach?
Well, this is it. So, but I kept hearing it over, and I felt so small and down on myself that I started to believe what other people were saying, and I didn't want anyone else to experience that. So we provide opportunities for individuals with disabilities to access the education and training they need to be independent.
And that's really important, because you've been through that plight. So if anybody recognizes it, it's you. And so you must do a lot of hand holding. You must do a lot of tear wiping, perhaps.
Oh yes.
And I can recognize that, because the reality is that whether you have a disability or not have a disability, our mind works in powerful ways. It can actually stop us from doing a lot of things that we full well know we're capable of doing. Right? How did you get involved, Ilya, in Connect for Life?
Well, I was actually trying to get more involved with the community. I was trying to actually look at helping marginalized individuals in society, and people living with disability are marginalized in society because they face systemic barriers on a daily basis, whether it's accessibility barriers or employment barriers, right? And unfortunately, they also face discriminatory attitudes, whether it's at work, school, and even at home. It's unfortunate. So I was actually looking through Volunteer NBC database, and Connect for Life really stood out to me because of the radio station, right? So I contacted Melanie right away.
Nice. And so I say this with I guess the most sincerest form, and you must know this when I say this, a flattery when I say to you that you're a younger individual. And you know you're a younger individual, and our viewers know you're a younger individual. But I have to say that I think that that's impressive, if I may use the word, because you could be doing some other things right now with your life, but you chose to assist here. And I want to understand where that sense of civic duty comes from, that specific one, because I understand you wanted to work with marginalized people, but where does this specific one come from? Because that speaks to me a lot.
Right. So actually, it's from my school. I'm majoring in criminology at York University, and criminology is very focused on changing the social conditions, addressing those inequalities in society. So through criminology, I got involved with various charities. I sit on the board of ARMA, which is a women's shelter, second stage housing, and then that position really gave me, opened the door for other positions. So I looked at Connect for Life, I actually volunteered at 5 different charities, right?
Crazy busy.
And
we're so fortunate to have
it's really
world's busiest criminologist.
It's really important, like, to show to the public as well and address these stereotypes and misconceptions that young people are either too busy partying or just too busy studying, and they don't care about social justice. We do care about social justice very much. We actually have 3 university students on the board and a lot of volunteers at the radio station.
The best thing that I ever did was to get my 3 volunteer board members from the university, because they're new, they've got fresh ideas, and they're committed to make a difference.
And those are the 3 big keys involved in sitting on a board, because it's a lot of your time, it's a lot of your focus, and it's very important to recognize that. And it's a civic duty. You got to give back. I think it's really important to recognize that. What would you know, we're going to go to break in about 5 seconds. Oh, right now. And then we're going to come back and chat some more. We'll be right back. Don't go too far. Welcome back. You're watching Cableton Live here on Rogers TV. I'm your host, Sarah Brana. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it very much. So if you've just joined us, we're talking about the community challenge that Carassauga is having on Carassauga weekend, which is taking place on, Stephanie, remind me again?
May 22nd to the 24th.
Which is not the long weekend. So you don't have to worry. It's not a long weekend. It can become another long weekend if you choose, because you're going to go to all the pavilions, and then maybe you know.
Celebrates festival for the whole weekend.
So it could be another long weekend of your choice, which is fine. So we're talking about that, but we're talking, actually a little bit more importantly, we're talking about the community challenge. And I have with me 2, I have to say, some of my favorite guests I've got here. I've got Melanie Tadeo and Elia Demeski, and you as well, Steph, so no issues there. But we're talking about giving back to the community. We're talking about Connect for Life. And we were talking off air, Melanie, about the difference between being born into a disability and sort of acquiring one, if I may use that terminology, in life. And yours was one that was acquired later on in life.
That's right. I had a stroke at the age of 21. So up to 21, I was sighted. I was moving around, driving my car, doing it. That was my 4th year university at York as well. And carefree, everything a 21-year-old does. And then to have something like this hit and leave me completely paralyzed on the left side and legally blind, you have your whole life altered drastically.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a huge change necessarily just for myself, but my entire family, because nobody had ever dealt with disability. And that's a scary thing.
It sure is.
You don't know where to turn, you don't know what resources are available. And I kept hearing, oh, you're disabled now, you need to stay home. I'm like, what? I'm 21, I'm not staying home.
Yeah.
But again, because back, I'm dating myself, it was 20 years ago, there was very limited resources for a young person having a stroke. I was in physio and all the actual rehab with people that were my grandparents' age. And they were like, oh, you're so cute, you know, blah, blah. But I'm like, I just need to be normal, whatever normal is.
Whatever normal is. And your passion for life was one that probably actually left you feeling a little sort of insulted when somebody said to you, maybe, what are you doing? You need to rest now. You need to rest now, right? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with when people say things like that to you?
Well, you know, my famous saying that came out of the whole thing is smile and nod.
Smile and nod, yeah.
But not just that, just knowing that I had dreams and aspirations from before my stroke. They changed a lot, let's face it, after the stroke because my limitations, but my drive to be a teacher was what was foremost, and I'm the first legally blind teacher to graduate in Ontario.
Wonderful.
Which is great.
Wonderful.
And it just shows that anyone with any type of challenge can still accomplish their dreams if they put their mind to it.
And that's what I wanted to ensure that we sort of what came out of this whole conversation, because there are many viewers that are watching us, and some of them are thinking, well, nobody knows what I'm going through, and nobody knows how hard it's been for me, or nobody knows that this happened to me. Everybody's got a story.
Yes.
That's the reality, is everybody's got a story. But the fact that this wasn't something that happened to you, you lived a regular normal life. Absolutely. But that made it all the more difficult when this came to you, but you're still living out your dreams.
Yes, and fulfilling them. And you know what, now I'm able to help others reach their potential and see their dreams come true, which is so rewarding.
And that's, you know, really nice to hear, and that's what I want to talk about now is what do you do? So for our viewers at home, what's the step? What are the steps they need to take? Something happens in life, they've got these dreams, they keep hearing about this. Walk them through it.
Well, first thing is, everybody's got an opinion. And everybody's going to share their opinions. Yeah. We have to keep telling yourself is that, thank you, you know.
Smile and nod.
Exactly, smile and nod. And know that yourself, those aspirations can still happen. It's going to take time. It's probably going to take a lot longer than originally planned. I am the type of person who wants to get everything done like yesterday, and that has to stop when you lose your vision. You have to be very careful. You have to do a lot of things slower, but I still get things done. Best thing is to find out what's available in the community. Find out what resources are there. And it's easy now that we have internet and all the things out there. Social media plays a great thing, Facebook and Twitter, because there's all this wonderful services out there that are willing and wanting to help. But unless you actually inquire,
you have to look for them.
Exactly.
And that brings me to my next point with, or next question rather, with Stephanie. Steph, how did you decide at Carassauga who was going to be involved in, what were the charities that were going to be involved in the Community Challenge?
So we did an extensive selective process actually in doing so. My colleague Laura and I actually had spent a lot of time chatting and just looking up different organizations that we either had heard of beforehand or organizations that were typically throughout the GTA that we didn't reach out to normally or we didn't know about, and we read up about them actually very extensively, and then we selected who we wanted to reach out to based off different things that you didn't typically know were available, and different organizations that we felt would really appreciate the reach, because the whole idea is that the Charity and Community Challenge is meant to allow organizations such as Connect for Life to be able to reach out to a larger target audience and network of people that normally would not be able to reach them if they didn't have some sort of kind of platform, which is what Carassauga wants to do to give back to the community. So we had picked Connect for Life because we saw how good they were and what they were offering, and it's not every day that you get an organization like Connect for Life that offers these sorts of capabilities to people who are disabled and have struggles. And so in doing so, we had to say, like, we needed to make sure they were able to come out and get some awareness, because we really do appreciate everything they do for the community.
I couldn't agree with you more. I really couldn't. I think the reality is, and Elia, you can probably speak to this, when you go out and chat with people and you explain to them that this is something that you do on the side, I'm certain that people are surprised that there is such an organization. Am I right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's interesting because we've been running since 2012, so we're fairly new. Yeah. But still a couple of years and people still don't know about us. So that's why we're really happy that we're given this opportunity at Carassauga where we can engage with, last year they had over 320,000 people, right? Yeah. So we can engage with all these individuals, young people, employers, local politicians, right? Engage with them, persuade them to join our cause, really.
Yes. And that's important in persuading someone to join your cause, because at the end of the day, like we chatted about, Melanie, you acquired this disability and nobody ever knows what can happen to anybody at any time. So I think that element of just being a human, sometimes you think, I've got to give back. I've got this, I've got to give back. So what would you say in terms of Carassauga coming up, involvement, volunteers? Are you still looking for volunteers? Are we looking for volunteers on a long-term basis for Connect for Life?
Oh yes, most definitely. We're all volunteer driven. With our radio station Voices for Ability, it's all done by people with some sort of disability, but also some other non-disabled people. Yeah. Wonderful volunteers. We have a great core bunch, and it's amazing to see who comes on. They want to give back. An opportunity to have your own radio show, that's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, it sure is.
And so we have actually 3 new shows that launched this week. Well, actually 2 this week and 1 next week. We had Femtime. Kristen Williams is a young lady from Ottawa who's hosting a show. We have Parentability, which is a parenting show for people with disabilities, hosted by Nancy Berry. And then we have Straight Up with Jam with Jamila Gamble starting next week. So we are so excited.
Congratulations. You should be excited. That's nice.
So then we have 6 already existing shows on the station. Again, a great bunch of guys, because it was all guys. Yeah. So now I've got my 3 girls on, so I'm pretty excited.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yes. So you want them to get involved. Any last minute comments about Carassauga? Where do they get their passports from?
Okay, so if you want to get a passport, get it online at www.carassauga.com. And if you'd like to donate, there's a section called the Charity and Community Challenge where you can find Connect for Life, along with all the other charities and community groups that are looking to raise money and awareness.
Wonderful. Lovely to have you all here. Thank you so much. Hats off to you all, and looking forward to Carassauga.
Yes,
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching the show. Good night. Have a lovely week. Take care.